Welcome to Think Hub, where curiosity meets knowledge. If you're ready to explore the world's most intriguing questions and uncover hidden truths, you're in the right place. Why the Titanic was doomed before it set sail. The RMS Titanic is remembered not just as a tragic shipwreck, but as a grand symbol of human ambition, overshadowed by fatal errors. This unsinkable luxury liner met its fate on April 15, 1912, during its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York. The sinking of the Titanic claimed over 1,500 lives and raised a profound question. Was the Titanic doomed even before it left port? An examination of the ship's design, the circumstances surrounding its construction, and human errors leading up to the voyage reveals that numerous factors contributed to its fate. Number 1. Overconfidence in unsinkability. The Titanic was marketed by the White Star Line as practically unsinkable. This claim stemmed from its innovative design, which featured a series of 16 watertight compartments meant to keep the ship afloat even if several compartments flooded. This assurance of safety fostered a belief in the ship's invincibility, and it influenced the decision to carry a reduced number of lifeboats. The Titanic could accommodate 3,547 passengers, yet it only carried enough lifeboats for 1,178 people, far below the ship's maximum capacity. This misplaced confidence also led to a lack of preparedness among the crew and passengers, many of whom believed that an evacuation would never be necessary. Number 2. Faults in the ship's design. The Titanic's design had innovative aspects, but certain features left it vulnerable. The watertight compartments, a key feature designed to prevent sinking, extended only a few feet above the waterline. When the ship struck an iceberg, these compartments filled with water and spilled over into adjacent compartments, a chain reaction that ultimately led to the ship's downfall. If the bulkheads had been taller, they might have kept the Titanic afloat longer or even prevented it from sinking altogether. Furthermore, the steel used for the Titanic's hull was brittle in cold temperatures, leading to cracks and fractures upon impact with the iceberg. Number 3. Substandard materials and cost cutting. The Titanic's construction took place amid immense pressure to outshine its rivals. White Star Line sought to surpass Cunard's flagship vessels, the Lusitania and the Mauretania, in size and luxury. To meet deadlines and budgets, compromises were made. Some of the steel used for the hull was of lower quality, more susceptible to brittleness in cold temperatures. Additionally, the iron rivets used on some sections were weaker than steel, leading to structural vulnerabilities. These choices, while cost-effective, resulted in a weaker hull that shattered more easily upon collision with the iceberg. Number 4. Overlooked iceberg warnings. In the days leading up to the disaster, Titanic's wireless operators received multiple iceberg warnings from nearby vessels. Unfortunately, these warnings were either downplayed or ignored due to communication issues and a desire to maintain the ship's speed and schedule. Wireless operators were preoccupied with sending personal messages for passengers, which took priority over navigation alerts. Only one iceberg warning made it to the bridge, which was ultimately disregarded by Captain Edward Smith, who was under pressure to deliver a swift, record-setting journey. This dismissal of crucial information increased the ship's vulnerability to disaster. Number 5. High speed in dangerous waters. Despite the iceberg warnings, the Titanic continued to cruise at nearly top speed of 22.5 knots. Captain Smith, a respected and experienced mariner, was encouraged by White Star Line executives to push the ship to its limits. It's likely he hoped to complete the voyage faster than scheduled, generating even more publicity for the unsinkable vessel. This urgency to impress led him to keep the ship speeding through an area known for icebergs, creating a catastrophic situation. Had the ship been moving at a slower pace, the crew might have had more time to react and avoid collision with the iceberg. Number 6. Inexperienced crew and lack of safety drills. The Titanic's crew included seasoned sailors, but many members were new to the ship and unfamiliar with its layout. Additionally, no formal lifeboat drills were conducted, even though they were standard procedure. Some historians believe that a lifeboat drill could have prepared passengers and crew for a swift and organized evacuation. Instead, confusion reigned as passengers scrambled to understand evacuation protocols. Many lifeboats were launched below capacity, and some passengers were reluctant to board, still believing in the Titanic's unsinkability. These errors in judgment and lack of preparation contributed to the high death toll. Number 7. Deficient lifeboat supply and regulations. The lifeboats carried by the Titanic were insufficient for its capacity, but this decision was within legal requirements of the time. British Board of Trade regulations were outdated, requiring only 16 lifeboats for vessels over 10,000 tons, which fell short of the Titanic's 46,000-ton weight. The assumption that lifeboats were primarily for ferrying passengers to nearby rescue ships further fueled the belief that they were unnecessary for large liners. Additionally, White Star Line wanted to avoid cluttering the deck with lifeboats, keeping the ship's appearance more streamlined. This adherence to outdated regulations led to inadequate safety measures for those on board. Number 8. The influence of social class. The Titanic's passenger manifest reflected a diverse social structure, from the wealthiest individuals in first class to immigrants in third class seeking a new life in America. This hierarchy extended to safety provisions, with first-class passengers having faster and easier access to lifeboats than those in third class, who were housed in the lower decks and faced challenges reaching lifeboat stations. This inequality led to a higher casualty rate among third-class passengers. Class distinctions, which were pervasive in society at the time, influenced every aspect of the voyage, including survival rates, demonstrating that social status even extended to life or death situations. A tragedy born of many factors. The Titanic's voyage was steeped in fatal mistakes long before it encountered an iceberg. Overconfidence in design, subpar materials, ignored warnings, high speed, a lack of safety drills, and class distinctions all contributed to the tragedy. The Titanic was more than just a vessel. It was a manifestation of human ambition, arrogance, and the belief that technology could conquer nature. This tragic event serves as a sobering reminder of the consequences of pride, oversight, and the fragile balance between humanity and nature. The Titanic was doomed before it set sail, not because of one flaw, but due to a cascade of oversights and hubris that ultimately led to its demise.